How many people are determined that they're not going to do solo? I don't see any hands. I was kind of like Christine. I grew up in a family that didn't have attorneys, and I really didn't know what an attorney did. I got into law school because God closed some doors and some other doors opened up, and so I got in, and I really had no clue where I was going with it. But I came out to California after I passed the bar. We were at a after-bar party, and I was talking to an upper classmate who was already practicing here in Elk Grove, and he invited me to come out and work with him for a while. And so I did. I spent 4 months with him, and he paid me just enough to let me survive, and just little enough to encourage me to strike out on my own. So it was perfect. He helped me cut my teeth. So anyway, I struck out on my own at the beginning of 2007. And the thing I would encourage you to think of is that when God calls you to do something, you can trust Him to provide. Having said that, the first year, if you're going to do solo, your first year is going to be really tight. And there was a lot of times that first year where I would just get down on my knees with my checkbook and I'd say, Lord, you know what I need, and you know it's not here. And somehow enough always came in to where I managed to pay off my credit cards every month, and it was just amazing. But there was, I think it was in July of 2007, one morning I was on my knees and I was doing my prayer time, and my phone rang. And my cell phone was my business phone. I couldn't afford a regular phone. And my phone rang, and it was this guy. He sounded like he was drunk, and he said, I just need an attorney. And I didn't know what to do, but I finally got him to give me his number. He had to repeat it 4 times before I could write it down. And I went to the office, and I started asking around because I got all my work out of the office. And so I started trying to figure out who this guy was. And finally I discovered that he had come in a few days previous into the building where we're at, and he met another attorney from a different office, and apparently he was either drunk or high or both. And he told him I just need an attorney. And he sent him up to our office, to one of the other attorneys in our office, and sent him up there because he didn't want it. Well, the attorney that he sent him to is a family law attorney, and so he asked him if he wanted a divorce, and he said no. And I guess he was throwing things around the waiting room, and so they got him to leave. But before he left, they gave him one of my cards. So they told me, this is a crazy client, you do not want this client. Well, I was at the stage in my legal career where you don't tell potential clients no. So my way of saying no was I said I need a $5,000 retainer. I figured most of the people I dealt with, that was way too high. And he says, okay. So we set an appointment. And he came in, and he had this big old canvas bag full of unopened bills and letters and just random papers. And it was big. And he's like, it's all in here, man, it's all in here. So I proceeded.
It's always a danger sign to bring a huge bag.
And I started digging through this stuff, and I started finding check stubs for a lot of money. And it turns out he's an Indian connected with the Cache Creek Casino tribe. And I won't get any more specific than that. But he wound up making me sort of he had all the money that flowed to him going to my trust account, and I was paying his bills for him and taking care of him, and doing things I had never studied for in law school. But anyway, that was my first big break, and it came because I asked God for help, and I said I need a good client, and God sent him to me. In a way that I could only attribute to God.